Check this out. Every week my community takes on a new build challenge. And this week we're building an AI-powered YouTube summarizer. But here's the catch, I don't get to choose the tool that I'll be using in this video. This can be anything from Cursor, Claude Code, Codex, you name it. So without further ado, let's spin the wheel. And the winner is Cursor. Alright, now that we know what coding tool we'll use, let's just quickly go over the requirements. The user should paste in a YouTube URL, get the summary back, and give us like a 1 or 2 sentence TLDR, 5 to 8 key takeaways, a watch these moments section with at least 3 timestamps, and a 1-line description of each, and the original video link at the top. Right, I've just opened up a new folder in Cursor, and you know what, let's use the new agent window. This agent view was introduced with Cursor version 3, so let's just go with this. Right, so I've opened up my YouTube Summarizer folder, and now let's decide on which model we'll use. Because we selected Cursor, I do want to stay with their native capabilities as much as possible, so it only feels suitable to use Composer 2. This is also a really fast and cheap model, but I might actually switch over to Opus just to design this application. Now, the first thing I want to do is just scaffold this project. So at the moment, this folder is empty, so I'm just going to open up this terminal view over here, and I'm going to start us off with a Next.js project. So let's do npx create next app at latest. I'll just use the recommended defaults. What I also want to do is to install shadcn. This is this component library that gives our agent access to all sorts of really cool components like cards and buttons. Now, I don't want to set this up myself. Instead, I'm going to go to skills. Then let's copy this command. Let's run it in the terminal. And in this list, I actually don't see Cursor specifically. So I'll just select Claude Code and press enter. Let's select project, symlink, and let's install this. By the way, another convenient way to find skills is to go to skills.sh. And from here, we could have just searched for shadcn as well. We just have to use this one from shadcn UI. It's the exact same thing. While we're here, and since we're using Next.js, I'll also look for this Next.js skill from Vercel Labs. Let's copy this skill. Let's install it into the project as well. Finally, let's install one more skill. Since these agents produce very crappy looking user interfaces, let's search for the front-end design skill. Let's copy this command, and let's run this as well. And let's install this. Done. Let's see if these skills are available. And let's just ask the agent, what skills do you have access to? So in the project, we've got access to shadcn, Next.js, and the front-end design skill. Perfect. Now I'm actually going to close this sidebar, and now we simply have to interact with our agent. So let's create the basic user interface for our app. Composer 2, as great as it is for coding, is not really good at producing user interfaces. So just for now, I'm going to switch over to Opus 4.7, and I just want to see if I've actually got access to this model. All right, it seems to work. I was under the impression I actually ran out of credits on Cursor already. All right, so what I'm going to do is actually copy the requirements from the brief. I'm actually going to use Cursor's built-in voice-to-text to dictate this. All right, I need you to use your front-end design skill to create a very basic landing page where the user can provide the link to a YouTube video. And then what this app will do is actually pull in the transcript of that video. It will then show the transcript somewhere on the screen, but it will also show this additional information which will be provided by AI. Now at this stage, I don't want you to worry about the AI functionality or any of the back-end functionality. We'll implement that in the later phase. For now, only focus on the user interface. Then I'll just paste in those requirements as well. For now, simply mock all of these. Then let's just select Opus 4.7 again, and let's run this. Alright, so it looks like I actually can't use Opus 4.7 in this, as I actually did reach my API usage limits. I might have to upgrade, but before we do that, let's see what Composer 2 can give us natively. So let's go back to Composer 2, let's run this. And I honestly have no idea what this is going to look like. This is something I really like about Composer 2. It is really fast. Let's open up the sidebar and let's actually open up the browser. And another cool thing about Cursor is that we can actually view the implementation live. Please can you start the dev server and open the page in your integrated browser? Alright then, and this is what we got back. Actually, that's not too bad. Considering that this was all done by Composer 2, I actually do like this. I'll just hide my camera for a second so that you can see it as well. This does not look bad at all. Let's just do anything, click on generate. Alright, it needs to be a valid URL. So let's just paste in an actual URL. Let's click on generate. And this is just mocking out what this could potentially look like. So we've got the link to the original video. We've got the TLDR section, key takeaways, watch these moments, and the full transcript. You know what? I'm very happy with this UI. Let's just go with this thing. Right, what we have to do now is add the actual backend functionality to retrieve the transcript, and we also have to add AI capabilities to actually look at the transcript and, provide all of these little summaries for us. Now, if you wanted to take part in these challenges as well and share it with a vibrant community of builders, then consider joining my school community at Agentic Labs. It's only $7 per month for the first 1,000 members. Also, if you want to learn how to build AI solutions, I've just released my Agentic Coding Masterclass. This teaches you everything you need to know to build real-world solutions using coding agents. And if you ever do get stuck, we've got live Q&A sessions every Wednesday. So I do hope to see you there. Right, I'm really happy with this UI, so I do want to commit the changes at this point. So what I'm going to do now is review these changes and then move my head out of the way. Let's commit and push all of these changes. At least now we know our UI design is locked in. Now, the first thing we need to do is to retrieve this YouTube transcript somehow. Now, in the weekly challenge, I do give you a few tips and tricks. There are existing libraries that you can use to retrieve these transcripts, like the YouTube transcript API package if you're using Python, or if you are using Node like Next.js, we could use the YouTube transcript package as well. Now that we've logged in the UI design, what I'm going to do now is actually create a new session so we can start with a new context window. Alright, so we've now nailed down the UI mockup of this application. Now let's focus on pulling the actual transcript from YouTube. There might be existing libraries that we can use to do this. One that comes to mind is this one. And then let's paste in the name of that library. And I'm actually just going to go into planning mode for this because I don't know if this is actually a valid library anymore. Maybe we need to set up like some API keys in Google Cloud Platform. I actually don't know what's going to happen. All right then, let's have a quick look at this plan. Library choice, YouTube transcript. It actually went to npm.js to get the actual details. It fits the stack, plain node-friendly module you can call from a route handler. Alright, it does propose a few alternatives. So I think let's just try to implement this one. If it doesn't work, we'll look at something else. Alright, so it's made the changes, and here's something I really like about Cursor as well. Since it's got access to this built-in browser, what we can do is ask it to perform testing on our behalf. I want you to test this change yourself. You can use this YouTube URL for testing. Then let's paste in a URL. And I'm actually going to clear the one on the screen so that we can see if it's actually interacting with the browser. Alright, so Composer seems to be testing this using the actual API endpoint, but I actually wanted to use the browser. Alright, so I think you only tested the API endpoint. I need you to do end-to-end testing using the browser, please. The browser just refreshed, and again, I'm not touching anything. Here are my hands. This is just Composer 2 operating the browser by itself. So I would assume it's actually going to scroll down to, oh, there we go. And it actually scrolled down to the transcript correctly. And I can already see from that transcript that it is coming from my actual video, because this video is about Claude Code routines. Alright, I'm happy we are indeed able to retrieve the transcripts. So I'm going to again just create a commit for this. So let's just say, please create a commit. So instead of doing a commit and push, the push actually doesn't work because this repo isn't hooked up to a GitHub or a remote repository yet. So I'm simply going to commit these changes. Right, now that this is done, I'm going to create a new agent, just so that we have a fresh session and fresh context. And let's say, hey there, let's continue working on our app. We've got a working user interface and we've got the transcript working, so we can provide a URL and extract the actual transcript. Now what we need to figure out is how to use AI capabilities to complete the rest of the sections in this app. All right, cool. Let's then switch over to plan mode. And I actually don't know what we're going to use yet. Should we use OpenRouter? Are we going to connect directly to OpenAI? I actually don't know yet. Since this solution requires quite a few structured outputs, like we definitely need to get back a TLDR, we need to get back an array of key takeaways, so an array being a list of takeaways, as well as a list of key moments. This is basically considered structured output. So what I'm going to do is use the AI SDK. This is really a fantastic framework for passing data to an LLM and getting the data back in a structured way. What I'm actually wondering is if there is already a skill for this. So let's look for the AI SDK. Let's actually install the skill into our project. So I'll just run it in this terminal window again. Install this, and done. Then for the LLM inference, I'll actually use OpenRouter. Now, this is really cool. You can use open source models if you want. You can use free models, paid models. This is really up to you. If you wanted to just try out a free model, you could just search for free and see if you can find any models here that will work for your use case. Personally, I'll just go with the paid model. So I only have like $1.34, so we'll see how far that gets me. But let's go to API keys. Let's create a new key. Now we have to add this key to a .env file. Do not pass these keys directly to the agent. Please, never do that. This information should never be shared with anyone. So in Cursor, let's see if we can figure out how to actually get to the file system. So what we can do is click on Editor View. Let's create a new file in the root called .env. This is where we can store any sensitive information. Then let's enter OpenRouter API key is equal to the key that we just copied. So then let's add to this prompt to say, use the AI SDK. You have a skill to assist you. And use OpenRouter for inference. I have already added .env variable called OpenRouter API key. I'll just use voice dictation again. All right, so what you need to do is pass the transcript to a model, and then from the model, you need to get the structured output to populate the rest of this page. This includes the TLDR section, the key takeaways, which is a list of values, as well as the watch these moments section as well, which is also a list. While that's running though, we also have to specify the name of the model that we want to use. So I don't think we need a super intelligent model for this, or a very expensive model for that matter. Let's just use Anthropic Claude Sonnet, I think. So let's just say for the model, use, and then I'll just paste in this value. We could also add this value as an environment variable, but I think this is not really sensitive information, so this should be fine. Let's run this in plan mode and let's go. Right, I can see the agent definitely used the AI SDK skill for this. Right, so this should be cool. Let's actually just build this. And let's just be proactive. We'll just say, you can use this YouTube URL to perform end-to-end testing. Please use your embedded browser to test this. Now this message is just queued. If I wanted to force it into the chat, I could press enter at this stage, but we don't want to do that. So we'll just let the agent complete, and then afterwards this message will automatically be sent to the agent. I'm just having a look at some of the files that were changed, and I am interested in this summarized transcript file, as this actually contains the schema along with the instructions for returning the fields from the agent. And this is also where we can see the system prompt. So if we ever wanted to change the behavior of the agent, this is where we would do that. Well, the agent just completed its changes, and that queued message was just sent. So hopefully we'll see the agent clicking around on the screen very soon. The page just refreshed. Again, I'm not touching anything. This is the agent testing the app by itself. So let's see, hopefully it's going to work. I'm just going to scroll down slightly so we can see that the TLDR, the key takeaways, all of that is currently generating. And hopefully in a few seconds, we do get a response back. This video introduces Claude Code routines, a new Anthropic feature. So perfect, the TLDR is actually correct. And let's have a look at the key takeaways. This is perfect. So it's summarizing all the key takeaways, and watch these moments. And there you have it. This is how I would build a YouTube summarizer using Cursor and Composer too. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you had fun, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more agentic coding tutorials.